Today we're going to start talking about verbs like Gustar. Um, but before we can really get into verbs like Gustar, we're going to have to talk and review verbs, verbs in general, subject pronouns, what they mean, and all those things. And then once we get there, we can take a step up and make sure we know what we're doing with verbs like Gustar. So I just want to review with the subject pronouns. To say I is the word yo. Tu is you. We've got L for him, ella for her, and usted for you formally. But don't forget, this is very important. We also have all other singular objects. So we could have the remote control, could have one shoe, a speaker, we could have a lion, or a pizza. Some of our other subject pronouns, we is nosotros or nosotras, y'all in Spain is vosotros and vosotras, they for guys is ellos, they for girls is ellas, you is ustedes, you all. And lastly, we could have all other plural objects here as well. So we could have shoes, pizzas, remote controls, or lions. So let's just check that we understand subject pronouns. How would you say he in Spanish? The word for he in Spanish is él. How would you say we in a mixed group of both boys and girls? The word we would use would be nosotros. What if I was talking about a group of girls and I wanted to say they, like they are tall? The correct word is ellas. If I want to go up to a friend and just say, hey, how are you? What's the correct word for you? Tú. When I'm talking about myself, which word would I use in Spanish? Correct word is yo. And lastly, if I want to go up to a group of friends and say, hey, how are you all, or y'all? What's the word I'm going to use? The word that we have is vosotros. Question. These should be clickable. You can click yes if you understand and move on, and no to be redirected to a different page if you don't understand. So if you've understood the material, we're moving on. I just need to make sure you guys understand nouns. Nouns can be a person, a place, or a thing. So here are some examples of nouns. Senior Nemo, Shakira, Fernando Torres. Verbs are action words, and as I've showed you before, nouns and verbs always have to match each other. So, for example, can you say he dance or I dances? Of course, we've talked about this. You need to say he dances or I dance. So, conjugation. How are these words different? Swim, swim, swam, swimming, was swimming, would swim. All these have a different connotation. And we just were asking, can you say I swims and she swim? You can't. That's the whole point of conjugation. We need to make our subjects and our verbs match. So, the subject of the sentence will always match the verb that immediately follows it. And this is a theme I did throughout this. Red for subjects, yellows for verbs. So, I run, she runs. The dogs are, she is, you are. So it's going to be like, I run to the store, she runs in the track. The dogs are small, she is bold, you are smelly. All of these things have to match. So this is something I showed you guys before as well. I clearly cannot go with is. You can't say I is or I are. It has to be I am. And you clearly can't be you is or you am. It has to be you are. So that leaves she being she is. And I've showed you this before as well. You can't do it in English because most of our words are like this. Run, run, run. I run, you run, we run. But in Spanish, we can do it. So conjugation is the formation or existence of a link and connection between things in particular, and in Spanish, or in English, the grammar portion, the variation of the form of a verb in an inflected language, such as Latin, by which we can choose voice, mood, tense, number, person. Again, we always need to match our subjects and our verbs. So here are some examples of AR. You guys might have seen this before, I hope. We can put hablar here, And you guys know you have to put the root in all the forms, so I'm going to put one root in every spot. And I think you guys will remember, hopefully, the endings for these. But if not, I'm going to start clicking on these. This is hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, habláis, and hablan. This is how AR verbs are formed. We've got ER verbs right here. I'm going to do the same thing. For example, beber is our verb. I'm going to put one of these stems in every spot. We've got babe in every spot. And now we can find the endings. And for the yo form, it's bebo, then bebes with an es, then bebe with an e, bebemos, bebes, and beben. Similarly, we have IR verbs. For our IR verbs, I'm going to choose vivir, which means to live. Vivir's forms are vivo, vives, vive, perdona, vivimos, vivis, and viven. So let's do a quick check. Hablar in the yo form. It's an AR verb. We're going to take off the AR and put the appropriate ending for yo. You should know how to do this. If you do, you would know that this would be yo is your subject, hablo is the verb, yo hablo. Vivir for ellos, what would that be? It would be ellos viven. Comer in the to form. Vamos a decir, tú comes. ¿Cómo se dice we share in español? Nosotros compartimos. You can see these match. Nosotros form and the imos ending. She listens. It should be ella escucha, perdón. Nonetheless. And last one, aprender vosotros. Vosotros aprendéis. Lo siento on this. Let's just change this to compartir. Okay, so moving on. If you've understood this, we're going to be able to move on. If not, we're going to hold you. So,
do you understand?
So if you did understand that last concept, we can move on. Verbs like gustar are different. Now, normally what we're going to be doing is taking our subject and matching it with our verb. And this is no different. It's just what we've been doing before has an active role. We can say, I run, I swim, I kick. The problem here is that the subjects are no longer I. They're more things that we like. So for example, we have a pizza here, and this is our verb, is pleasing. The pizza is pleasing. Who's it pleasing to? The pizza is pleasing to Stewie. So right here, the pizza is the subject, and is pleasing is going to be our verb. Here's another one. The magazine is pleasing to Channing Tatum. Again, the magazine is the subject, and is pleasing to is our verb. And the last one, the fruit is pleasing to Senor Nemo. Now, what's funny is that normally we want to say something like Senor Nemo teaches, Senor Nemo talks. But in this one, I'm not the one that's doing an action. Instead, the fruit is the thing that's doing an action, and that action is being pleasing to me. I like the fruit. So here's an example of what it would be if your subject, which was pizza before, becomes plural. So we've got pizza. Plural is pizzas are pleasing. Now in this last example, we had pizza is pleasing. But in this example, when it's plural, it's pizzas are pleasing. So Stewie is not changing. But since the subject here changed, your verb in English, in this case, and in Spanish, when we get to it, needs to change. Pizzas are pleasing. Magazines are pleasing to Channing Tatum. Again, Channing Tatum is just one person, But here there are 4 magazines, so the 4 magazines are pleasing to Channing Tatum. The fruits, and obviously we don't say fruits very often, but you could. You could say the many fruits, the strawberry, the kiwi, the oranges, the lemons, the fruits are pleasing to Señor Nemo. And I haven't changed, but the fruits became plural, so now this needs to be are pleasing. So what's the subject of the sentence here? Well, the subjects that we had were pizzas, magazines, fruits. And in the previous slide, we had pizza, magazine, fruit. So we've got these other verbs. We've got 4 verbs like Gustar. The first one is Gustar. Gustar means to like, hence this right here. So there are 6 forms. We're really only going to concentrate on 2. The 6 forms that we have are gusto, gustas, gusta, gustamos, gustáis, and gustan. It's a regular AR verb. But I've made the 2 forms big that we're going to work with. Now, it's interesting. You might hear that there's only 2 forms for Gustar. There are 6. But like I said, we're rarely going to use these other 4 forms. It's very rare, at least in beginning Spanish. So we're only going to focus on these 2 forms. But why? But why only these 2? Let me show you another verb. Encantar. Encantar means to love. Encantar is another AR verb. It's totally regular. Encanto, encantas, encanta, encantamos, encantáis, encantan. Same thing though. We're really only going to focus on encanta and encantan. We'll find out why in a little bit. Chocar. This means you do not like something. It's another regular AR verb. Choco, chocas, choca, chocamos, chocáis, chocan. That's how you say you don't like something. But again, we're only going to focus on choca and chocan for right now. The last one we have for you guys is fascinar. Simply fascinating. Well, what is it? It means to fascinate. So we've got another AR verb. It's totally regular. Fascino, fascinas, fascina, fascinamos, fascinais, fascina. But again, we're only focusing on fascina and fascinan. So we're often going to use singular nouns like a pizza and plural noun like pizzas when we're saying these sentences. So think of gustar. In this form, and I'll go back to a couple slides ago, you could say gusta in this third box right here. It's gusta. And what I want you to think of is this pizza that I was just showing you. One pizza. Well, I'm not a pizza, you're not a pizza, we're not. Pizza has to go here if it's singular. So we know when pizza is singular, it needs to be gusta. Gusta la pizza. And when it's plural, it needs to be gustan las pizzas. That means the pizza is pleasing or the pizzas are pleasing. So the reason we're going to really focus on these 2, gusta and gustan, is because we're going to be talking about objects a lot. So any singular object could go here, again, like pizza, remote control, chair, shoe, or many plural objects can go here, like video games, pizzas, sabers, tennis balls, anything that's plural can go here. So we will often use singular nouns like pizza and plural nouns like pizzas to describe what we like. This is why gusta and gustan, or if we said love the pizza, encanta and encantan, choca and chocan, and fascinan are the most popular forms that we were discussing from the slide before. So we need to also talk about to whom these objects are pleasing, because you can't just end with this. If you just end up by saying this, the pizza is pleasing, you're like, to whom? Who's the person that likes pizza? So we need to talk about that. We're going to start our sentences with these phrases. A mí, a ti, a él, a ella, a usted, a nosotros, a vosotros, a ellos, a ellas, a ustedes. This is how we're going to say to whom these things are pleasing. And we actually have to add one more thing. These right here are called indirect object pronouns. Indirect object pronouns do not necessarily translate perfectly to English, but nonetheless it's going to be important for Spanish. So every time we say a mí, we're going to follow it up with me. And you guys may remember this from phrases like me gusta. Every time we say a ti, we're going to say te. Every time we say a él, we're going to say le. A ella le. A usted le. When we're going to say we would say a nosotros, nos. When we say y'all in Spain, we would say a vosotros, os. And we want to say to the guys, we would say a ellos les. To the girls, a ellas les. And to y'all, a ustedes les. So this is the intro. This is the first half of your sentence. To say who something is pleasing to, you're going to say a mí me. Like a mí me gusta la pizza. A ti te gusta la pizza. So in Spanish, the sentences are written backwards, and they need their indirect object pronouns. So if we want to try the sentence, pizza is pleasing to me, we're going to try it like this. To me. Then we're going to throw in our indirect object pronoun from the previous page, which we have me, te, le, nosos, les. So we had me here, so we're going to throw in a me when we get there. To me is pleasing pizza. It sounds funny, but that's how it works in Spanish. So I'll slide these up. This is the order we're going to go in. And we'd start with a mí. And we need to attach our indirect object pronoun. So we said a mí goes with me. You can see that from the slide. A mí goes with me. So a mí me. Singular word pizza. La pizza. We need to match gusta with pizza. So this was a singular object, so it would go in box 3. And then you need to form your form of Gustar with it. And I think of these as two different sentences, so I split them like that. A mí me gusta la pizza. Notice, the red is the subject, the yellow is the verb. These match. La pizza and gusta match. And these are indirect objects and indirect object pronouns, to whom the thing is pleasing. So let's try some together. We have, I like the taco, or the taco is pleasing to me. You guys can understand that to be a mí me, and then gusta el taco. He dislikes the homework, or the homework is irking to him. Would be a él le, because it's to him, choca, irking, or annoying, or dislike, and then the word is homework, la tarea. But sometimes this subject, which, see, I put the subject in red here, so el taco or la tarea, it could become plural. This could be tacos, this could be tarea. If that happens, we need to change our verb, because remember, subjects and verbs need to match. So here's an example of what it might look like when it's plural. Our sentence we're going to work with is, you are fascinated by the books. The books are fascinating to you. So let's try this one. I'll give you a chance to do this. To you. So we're going to use our form of to you. Then we need our indirect object pronoun that matches with you. We're going to put our word in on this side of the sentence, our verb, fascinating. But remember, this is going to be the books, not just the singular book, but the books. I'll give you a second to try and figure out what that would be. All right, so this sentence would be, a ti te fascinan los libros. Once again, I want to know,
Do you understand? You?
so if you do understand everything we've gotten to so far, I just want to cover how Gustar verbs are different. So normally, we can simply decide who's doing the action and match the verb to it. That's pretty simple. I run, yo corro. I eat, yo como. You talk, tú hablas. For example, I talk, yo hablo. However, verbs like gustar are more passive. The subject in Spanish is the item that we would say that we like or dislike or love or are fascinated by. For example, I like tacos. A mí me gustan los tacos. So it's tricky. You can't say yo gusto. So please do not be tempted to say this. It does not work. You can't say yo gusto. It does not make any sense in Spanish. You have to start off with who it's pleasing to, which is a mí, me. And then you need to match your subject with your verb. Again, your subject here is tacos. And then you would also say gustan to match with it. So just like this, gustan los tacos. You can't say yo gusto. It doesn't work. So we're going to start out with some simple practices. You guys can return to the sheet that has all the list of activities to do. Hopefully it's a good intro for you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Raise your hand, ask any questions. Otherwise, good luck with the rest of the things we're doing. And I hope you enjoy Verbs like Gustar.